I realized something was seriously wrong the moment my phone hit the cafe tile floor. The screen cracked instantly, and I just stood there, staring blankly, panic rising in my chest. It wasn't just a phone, it was my whole life. Photos, messages, bank accounts, and client contacts. I had just received an advance payment of $3,000 for a major project, and access to my banking app was now behind shattered glass. All those TikTok hacks about cloud backups flashed through my mind, none of which I'd ever actually followed. My coffee was getting cold next to me as I desperately tried to recall my iCloud password when suddenly, a voice came from behind me, a voice I hadn't heard in 7 years. "Anna? Is that you?" My blood ran cold. The voice belonged to the last person I ever wanted to see, Danny. Our breakup hadn't been just bad. It had been catastrophic. The last words I'd spat in his face were, "I never want to see you again." Yet, ironically, here he was, smirking at me. "Need some help?" he asked softly. I nodded instinctively, even as my stomach churned. Danny picked up my phone, glanced at the cracked screen, and smiled wryly. Life has a twisted sense of humor, doesn't it? I wanted to snap back something sharp, but only managed a shaky, "What are you doing here?" "Could ask you the same," he shrugged. "Truthfully, I was waiting for you." "What?" "I've been following your Instagram. Saw you landed a big contract. Needed to talk to you, clear some things up." He didn't finish his sentence because his eyes darted past me, and his expression instantly changed. I turned around to see a hooded figure quickly approaching us. Everything clicked into place immediately. It was a trap. "Anna, quick, through the back door." Danny grabbed my hand roughly, and suddenly I was sprinting after him, heart pounding wildly. We burst out onto the back alley, jumped over a fence, and heard shouting behind us. My feet ached in the sharp heels I'd chosen for my important meeting, but I ran as though my life depended on it. "Where are you taking me?" "Who was that?" I nearly screamed as we finally stopped several blocks away. He was breathing hard, looking at me very seriously. "Anna, it's about that money. You were set up. I couldn't warn you sooner. You blocked me everywhere. But I'm here now, and I won't let anything happen to you." I stared into his eyes, thinking only one thing. How messed up had my life become if my only help was coming from the one person who had destroyed it years ago? "Danny, start talking," I demanded, my voice shaking as adrenaline surged through me. We had ducked into a dimly lit diner, hidden in a booth far from the windows. The waitress gave us suspicious glances, but Danny's intense stare silenced any questions she might have asked. He sighed, rubbing his temples. "The contract you got, that money, it's connected to some dangerous people. I tried warning you anonymously, but clearly, that didn't work." "Dangerous people?" "Like criminals." My stomach twisted at the thought. I was just a graphic designer. Criminals weren't exactly in my social circle. "Worse," he whispered, glancing around nervously. "They're connected to my family." My jaw dropped. Danny's family had always been mysterious, wealthy, but he'd never mentioned anything dangerous. Suddenly, our past felt heavier than ever. "What do they want from me?" He leaned closer, eyes dark and serious. "They think you know something or have something that threatens them. The money was bait. Once you took it, they had their hook in you." My hands trembled. This was surreal. "Danny, what am I supposed to do now?" He took my hand, a gesture strangely comforting yet unsettling. "Stay close to me. Trust no one else." I stared into his eyes, battling my instincts. Could I trust Danny again, after everything he'd done? But then, did I really have any other choice? Liam's apartment was located downtown in a luxury building that screamed wealth and power. The lobby alone felt intimidating, polished marble reflecting harsh fluorescent lights. Danny pressed the elevator button, and I caught our reflection in the mirror, pale, tired, and visibly anxious. "Just stay calm," Danny whispered, sensing my tension. The elevator doors slid open smoothly, and within seconds we were standing outside Liam's door. Danny knocked sharply. A moment later, Liam appeared, dressed casually yet impeccably, smiling as if nothing was amiss. "Danny, Anna, long time no see," he greeted coolly, eyes flickering briefly over me with veiled amusement. "Please, come in." His apartment was starkly modern, black leather furniture, white walls, minimalist decor. Expensive, but cold. Liam motioned us toward the living room and casually poured himself a drink, offering none to us. So he began, swirling the amber liquid in his glass. "What brings you two here, looking like fugitives?" Danny didn't mince words. "Anna's in trouble. The contract she accepted, it's connected to our family." Liam's eyes sharpened instantly, the facade dropping momentarily before returning to his usual smooth charm. "And you thought coming here was wise?" "We need answers, Liam." "You know how serious this is," Danny pressed. Liam sighed dramatically, placing his glass down. "Fine. But if we're discussing family secrets, let's at least make this interesting." He moved towards an ornate cabinet, pulling out a file. This, Anna, is why they're after you. He tossed it onto the coffee table. My heart pounding, I opened the file slowly. Inside were surveillance photos of me, my bank statements, and copies of emails I didn't even remember writing. What's going on? I asked, voice shaking. You were framed, Liam explained flatly. Someone used your identity to siphon funds from family accounts connected to business dealings that aren't exactly legal. My pulse thundered in my ears. But who would do this? And why me? That's what we're trying to figure out, Liam said cryptically, glancing at Danny. But I have a hunch. Danny looked wary. Who? Our dear cousin, Marcus. He's been ambitious, trying to shift power within the family. Setting Anna up would serve two purposes, covering his tracks and taking out Danny's biggest vulnerability. Danny visibly stiffened at that. Anna isn't involved. Maybe not directly, but Marcus saw an opportunity and took it. Liam shrugged, indifferent. You're collateral damage, Anna. But you're also the key to stopping him. How? I asked, feeling helpless. Liam leaned in closer, his voice dangerously low. Because Marcus made one crucial mistake. He underestimated you both. I propose we set our own trap. Danny looked skeptical, but Liam was already formulating a plan. We'll arrange a meeting, pretend Anna's panicking, desperate for help. Marcus will have no choice but to show himself. That's dangerous, Danny argued, visibly tense. Everything about this situation is dangerous, Liam retorted coldly. It's either this or keep running. You decide. Danny glanced at me, conflicted but resolute. Anna, it's your call. My mind raced. Fear and anger warred within me, but above all, I was tired of running and being used. Let's do it, I said firmly. I want my life back. Liam smiled darkly. Perfect. Now, let's make Marcus pay for ever thinking he could outsmart us. We spend hours planning meticulously. Each step of the scheme brought a fresh wave of anxiety, but also a strange clarity. I felt stronger, knowing the truth. Danny watched me carefully throughout, occasionally offering supportive glances that reminded me why I'd once trusted him implicitly. As dawn approached, Liam handed me a burner phone. Call Marcus. Sound desperate. Make him believe you're willing to do anything for help. I dialed the number Liam provided, heart racing as Marcus answered suspiciously. Hello. Marcus, it's Anna. I don't know who else to turn to. They're after me, and Danny can't protect me anymore. Silence hung heavily on the line. Finally, Marcus spoke, his voice cold and calculating. Where are you? I'll text you an address, I whispered, faking fear that wasn't entirely false. Please hurry. As I ended the call, Liam nodded approvingly. Now, we wait. Every nerve in my body screamed caution, but deep inside, I felt oddly empowered. We had set the bait. Marcus would soon take it, and with any luck, this nightmare would finally end. The abandoned warehouse Liam chose for our meeting place felt like something straight out of a movie, a cavernous space, littered with rusted metal and broken machinery, dimly illuminated by dusty streams of sunlight piercing through shattered windows. It smelled of oil and neglect, the perfect backdrop for confronting the shadows that had been haunting me. Danny paced nervously, continually checking his watch and glancing at every distant sound. Liam, by contrast, appeared remarkably composed, leaning casually against a rusted beam, as narrowed in calculation. How can you be so calm? I asked him, anxiety prickling my skin. Liam gave me a faint smile, devoid of warmth. Because I've dealt with Marcus my entire life. I know exactly how he thinks. Predictable, if ruthless. I shivered despite myself. Predictable didn't make Marcus any less dangerous. Time crawled painfully slow, my nerves fraying further with every passing minute. Finally, we heard the crunch of tires on gravel outside. A car door slammed shut. Footsteps approached with a steady, confident rhythm. Marcus emerged from the shadows into the pale sunlight, looking sharp and polished in a suit that felt absurdly out of place. His eyes met mine first, dark with suppressed anger. Anna, he said coldly. I must admit, you're braver than I gave you credit for. I swallowed hard, forcing my voice to remain steady. I just want this to end, Marcus. He laughed bitterly, his gaze shifting to Liam and Danny. And dragging these two into your mess was your solution? Impressive. Drop the act, Danny cut in harshly. We know everything. You framed Anna to cover your tracks. Marcus's expression hardened dangerously, eyes flickering between anger and amusement. Do you honestly think proving it will matter? This goes deeper than just framing someone. It's about power, Danny. Family legacy. Something you've never fully understood. Liam stepped forward, expression equally cold. Family legacy or not, your greed got sloppy. You've endangered us all, Marcus. Marcus chuckled darkly, unfazed. Endangered you? Or simply revealed the truth? You think I'm the only one playing dirty here? Your saintly brother Danny has secrets of his own, Anna. Secrets he's conveniently neglected to tell you. My stomach twisted. Instinctively, I looked at Danny, whose face was pale, eyes shadowed with something unreadable. Danny? What's he talking about? Danny hesitated just long enough to break my heart before finally speaking. Anna, it wasn't supposed to get this far. Marcus set you up, yes, but I knew the money was suspicious from the beginning. I wanted to use it to flush Marcus out. I recoiled, betrayal sharp and immediate. You used me. I thought I could protect you, he pleaded, desperation cracking his voice. I never intended for things to go this far. Marcus watched our exchange with open satisfaction. See? No one here is innocent. Enough, Liam barked, interrupting sharply. Marcus, it's over. You've exposed yourself, made too many enemies. It's only a matter of time before the family finds out everything. Marcus narrowed his eyes, visibly calculating his next move. Then, unexpectedly, he smiled, slow and chilling. You think I came alone? You underestimate me. Before anyone could react, several figures stepped from the shadows around us, each armed and clearly loyal to Marcus. The air grew thick with tension. Here's the deal, Marcus said calmly, stepping closer. Anna comes with me. We clear up this misunderstanding quietly, or things get very ugly, very fast. Danny moved instinctively to shield me, his jaw clenched. You're not taking her anywhere. Marcus tilted his head, amused by Danny's defiance. You lost any right to protect her the moment you used her as bait. I felt trapped, my mind racing wildly for a solution. I'll go, I heard myself say, my voice steadier than I felt. Anna, no, Danny whispered urgently. It's the only way, I said firmly, stepping around him. If this ends here, so be it. Marcus gestured, and his men moved closer, clearly suspicious of a trick. Liam's expression tightened subtly, his eyes flicking quickly between Danny and Marcus. Wise choice, Marcus said softly, extending his hand mockingly. Come. I walked slowly towards him, heart thundering in my chest. As he reached for my arm, something shifted rapidly in my peripheral vision. Liam lunged forward, knocking Marcus off balance. Chaos erupted instantly, shouts and movements blurring together. Danny grabbed me roughly, pulling me behind cover as Liam struggled fiercely with Marcus. In the confusion, I realized Liam had anticipated Marcus's treachery. He had a plan of his own. Gunshots cracked sharply, echoing off the metal walls. Danny held me tight, shielding me from the fray, but my eyes were locked onto Liam, who managed to subdue Marcus, pinning him to the ground. It's over, Liam growled breathlessly. Call off your men. Marcus, defiant but defeated, nodded reluctantly. His men hesitated but ultimately lowered their weapons. I exhaled shakily, adrenaline draining from my limbs as Danny whispered against my ear. I'm so sorry, Anna. But sorry couldn't erase betrayal. Amidst the relief that it was finally over, the sting of Danny's lies lingered, cutting deeper than I'd ever imagined. The aftermath was suffocating. Police sirens blared outside, lights flashing red and blue against the shattered warehouse windows, casting eerie, dancing shadows on the walls. Marcus and his men were swiftly taken into custody, leaving the three of us standing in uneasy silence amid the wreckage. Danny stood near me, eyes cast downward, shoulders slumped under the weight of guilt. Liam spoke quietly with an officer, calmly spinning a believable version of events that conveniently omitted our deeper involvement. He was, as always, in control. Anna, Danny began softly, stepping cautiously towards me. Please, let me explain. Explain what? My voice trembled with barely contained rage. How you planned to use me from the start, or how you lied to me at every step. His face crumpled slightly, genuine pain flickering through his eyes. I made a terrible mistake. I thought if I kept you out of the loop, you'd be safer. Safer? I laughed bitterly, feeling a sharp ache in my chest. Look around, Danny. Does this look safe to you? Anna, Liam interjected calmly, approaching us carefully. Danny's actions were misguided, yes, but he risked everything to protect you tonight. Protect me? I echoed incredulously, turning sharply to Liam. By lying? By using me as bait? Liam's face remained inscrutable, a mask of careful neutrality. He made questionable choices, but intentions matter. He loves you, Anna. In his flawed way, he was trying to shield you. Love. I scoffed, stepping away from them both, overwhelmed and betrayed. That's not love, Liam. Love is trust. Respect. Honesty. Danny destroyed all of that. Danny flinched visibly, stepping back as if struck. You're right, he whispered hoarsely, defeat etched deeply into his features. I don't deserve your forgiveness. No, I agreed sharply, tears blurring my vision despite my anger. You don't. The police officer approached, clearing his throat awkwardly, sensing the tension. We have all the statements we need. You're free to go for now. But stay reachable. We nodded mutely, stepping outside into the crisp night air, the coolness a harsh contrast to the stifling tension we'd left behind. Liam looked between us briefly, reading the atmosphere expertly. I'll give you two some space, he said quietly, walking towards his sleek black car parked a short distance away. Danny turned to face me, eyes hollow with regret. Anna, there's nothing I can say to fix this. But for what it's worth, I truly believed I was doing the right thing. I looked at him, the man who'd once been my everything, now a stranger cloaked in betrayal. The right thing would have been telling me the truth, giving me the chance to decide my own fate. He swallowed hard, nodding slowly. I know. I was selfish, arrogant, and completely wrong. But if I could rewind and do it over... You can't, I cut in sharply. You can't rewrite the past, Danny. You can only face the consequences. He exhaled shakily, running a weary hand through his hair. Then let me face them. Whatever you decide, I accept. We stood quietly for a long moment, the chaos slowly fading into silence around us, replaced by the distant murmur of city life. Finally, I spoke, my voice quiet but firm. I need space, Danny. Time to figure out what comes next. Alone. His eyes clouded with sorrow, yet he nodded with understanding. Whatever you need, I'll respect it. As I turned to leave, walking towards the street, I felt an odd sense of clarity amidst the pain. The past few days had turned my world upside down, exposing hidden truths and dark intentions. Yet somehow, in the rubble of betrayal and chaos, I found a strange, unexpected strength. Danny watched me go, standing frozen in place, the weight of his choices settling heavily upon him. I didn't look back. Each step forward felt like reclaiming pieces of myself I'd lost long ago, rebuilding from ruins into something stronger, wiser, and undeniably my own.